Welcome, everyone, to the Motorsport Show.
Caught you. You were adjusting your microphone.
I've been adjusting everything. What a day.
We've had a day.
Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you back. We had
Are we on?
I believe we're on, Philip.
We
I
had
believe
a few,
we're on.
few technical dramas. Sorry, we're about 3 minutes late.
Again, we're getting there with the. We've got a new system in place, and anyway,
It's great, by the way. We
working.
really like it.
Because Robbie's taken off. He's on the road trip, on the school trip, and
He's on the run, isn't he?
Isn't
he on the run from the
enjoying
feds?
himself. So anyway, he's taken the hunky-dory system, and last show left us with a new system, and we've worked it out, and then we fixed a few things. And
When he says we, I don't know a thing. I don't know.
So mate, I am absolutely rooted.
Are you? You just have a little sleep. I'll do the whole thing.
Well,
No, I won't. Nobody wants to hear that. Not even me.
but what a week! What a 2 weeks in motorsport.
Yeah,
Philip.
it has. What a huge fortnight. No, I'm not going to say that. No, it has been a very busy couple of weeks, and there's been a lot going on. And quite apart from the fact that we're a couple of minutes late, it's been very entertaining. And thank God there's nothing on this weekend to distract us.
Oh, yeah, right.
There's a lot on. There's a lot going on. Episode 11, by the way. Welcome. Thank you for staying with us.
Parody adjustment from Tom Worsley. He's come out and told us. And Phil,
Splitter.
Our last show,
Yeah.
32,500 views. So we've been building.
We have.
It's the greatest numbers of viewers we've had so far.
Fastest growing Motorsport Live
Facebook show
based
in the world.
in Mulgrave.
In the world.
In the world. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you, viewers. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do. And especially, we're doing this on
Especially tonight.
no money.
What?
We'd love a couple of sponsors. No money, and
For the love of the sport.
we're trying to do it. And
For the love of the sport.
and for a drink.
Have a drink.
I-
What's going
I
on?
will.
Have we got a loaded show tonight, Gerald?
It is packed.
Packed?
Absolutely packed. We've had, in the last couple of weeks, Formula One. We've had
Yeah.
supercars.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, supercars.
Have we?
We've had drag
Didn't
racing.
notice.
And we've got a special guest coming up on tonight's show.
Yeah.
Australia's own Richie Crampton.
Right.
Hot off a win.
Live via...
Telephone.
Yeah.
Live via telephone. And don't worry, we've tested that system, and that worked out beautifully
What
this
could
afternoon.
possibly go, hello? Hello?
And we've also had supercars, NASCARs, NHRA, Speedway,
Yep.
Formula 3s, Formula Renaults. It's gone on and on and on and on.
Well, speaking of Formula 3, should we start off with Formula 3? Because this is a good story. It was a very scary moment. Do we want to talk about this first?
Why not?
Alex
Michelle,
Peroni.
let's roll the videotape.
Alex Peroni at Monza. And that was a sausage curb that had moved during the earlier course of the event. And that is a massive shunt. Now, the great news is Alex Peroni from Tasmania got out of the car under his own steam with a back injury. He's got a crack in a vertebrae. He was hospitalised for a couple of days, and he's flown home to Tasmania, and he will be taking it very, very easily. But boy,
And
what a shunt.
So he's back in Tassie?
Yeah, he's back in Tassie. They build them tough down there in Tasmania, don't they?
Well, the car is sponsored by Tasmania as well. And,
Yeah.
he must be tough. He's wearing Blundstone boots.
Did they make racing boots? Did they make the ones with the little narrow soles, the little fireproof? I don't think they do.
I don't think that'd be great things to...
But you probably get something branded.
I don't think that'd be great things to be wearing in a race car. With all respect to Blundstone, we'd certainly love you to sponsor our show, Blundstone Boots.
And look, we enjoy having a jape about motor racing, but when we see things like that, thank goodness for the engineering standards of those cars. And Peroni will be out for the rest of the season, and we'll see him back hopefully in F3 next season as well. Good luck to him.
Why would they put sausage curbs there?
It's a distraction, and that sausage curb had actually been dislodged earlier in the event. It wasn't like these clowns put them on the outside of the circuit for no good reason. This was a design, and that thing had actually moved. It wasn't supposed to be as far in as it was.
Okay. And Australia's own Michael Massey inspected the track, and he was happy with where they had been.
And a guy who was getting, we'll talk about this a little while in Formula One, a guy who was getting fantastic reviews in his first year as F1 race director, a role he took with a heavy heart in Melbourne after the very untimely death of his mentor, Charlie Whiting, and Massey is doing a fantastic job.
And has been crowned to go on.
Yes, I think
Ongoing.
he's got the job for the rest of the season, and I think he's going to. I think it's a no-brainer. I think they'll just keep him. Andreas Seidel, the team principal at McLaren, came out in the press during the week and praised him very highly. And Massey will be in Singapore this weekend with the rest of the crew, calling the shots.
Now, everyone watching at home, thanks for tuning in. We want your questions and your comments,
especially
about
a little bit later
what
on.
Things go on,
Especially about New Zealand.
A big g'day from Nowra, says Fred Campbell.
Nowra, that's a good part of the world.
Jenny Love, any more news on JC and where he's going next year?
No.
Yeah, not at the moment. It's all up in the air like it was.
The Sydney thing is still. There's still talk about Sydney. There's still people tickering away about Sydney, but
Scott Hallinan, he's into it. Righto, guys, rip into it. And let's talk about supercars and race control and parity.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Talk about Formula One.
F1.
Let's go to the videotape, please, Michelle.
The Cathedral of Speed. A Ferrari on pole, how good was that? But in very controversial circumstances, Charles Leclerc won the start in his Ferrari, and it's hard to believe, looking at the performance of this guy, that he's managed to only have one season. Max Verstappen started at the back of the grid because he had an engine change, and then Alex Albon getting a little bit of an elbow from one of the McLarens, and this is one of the talking points of the race. Sebastian Vettel driving back onto the track into the path of Stroll. They both got penalties, and this is also the other talking point of the race. Now, this is where Massey came into it. We'll talk about this in a moment. A challenge for the lead between Leclerc and Hamilton.
Well, he was driving?
Yeah, no, we'll get to that in a minute. We might as well have been. Vettel having no, that was Leclerc having a trip across the curbs. That was Hamilton having a trip across the curbs because he was completely out of grip, and he found himself having to come in and change tyres. Sebastian Vettel just wasn't a factor in this race, but Charlie Leclerc was his second win in a week. And this is the new guy at Ferrari. Bottas second, Lewis Hamilton third. Daniel Ricciardo fourth, ahead of his teammate Nico Hülkenberg. And first time the Renaults have been two cars in the top five for about 3 years. And a fantastic performance by them. New donk, great performance by Danny. And again, to everybody who thinks Hülkenberg was going to give him a rev, no. And now the fight's on for the championship. For fourth position in the championship in the Constructors' title between McLaren and Renault. And Danny's proving his worth.
The big news, which we didn't get after
Spa?
No. Shit.
Monza?
No, the big news was that Rich Energy and Haas have parted ways.
No!
Can you believe it?
What?
Oh, I'm stunned.
Oh, no.
Rich Energy. Haas have...
I ordered some Rich Energy.
Have you got it?
No, of course not.
By Amazon?
Yeah.
You can buy it here.
4 weeks to get a refund. No energy drinks.
What happened? They got 90 million cans.
No, I don't think so. Well, I haven't got 90 million cans.
It was a mega deal, like the fuel deal.
Is that like those?
Have you ordered any mega fuel?
No, but I have ordered one of those cans of Pepsi with James Courtney's head on it.
Oh, yeah.
Has anyone got any of those?
Who wrote that?
Send us a photo. I think it's one of those myths.
And Walkinshaw and Andretti United have split from Mega.
Yes,
They've terminated the deal, which...
they have. They certainly have. Yeah.
Tarek in Dubai. Hello, gents, he says. Hello, mate. Good to...
hello, Dubai.
Thanks for tuning in again. Tarek, one of the great blokes from Sydney, a good race car driver.
Is it right?
Yep.
And now he's in Dubai.
He's been over there for years.
Has he?
Yeah.
In Dubai?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Abu Dhabi and Bahrain. We used to see him over there all the time. He's got it going on. I hope you're well, mate, and hurt his leg.
Thanks for watching.
But thank you for tuning in. And he's actually sent me a couple of notes about are we going to put this on a podcast, just the audio later on, which we should be doing. We'll investigate that. We've got to get our shit together and coming up on air every 2 weeks.
Just don't look. Because you've got a ripper head for radio. You know that?
Wayne McCallum, any Calder Park drag racing updates? Oh, no. Sorry, Wayne. Best thing on the screen tonight says David Jones. Thank you, Jonesy.
That's good. There's no state of origin then.
No, and the front bar's not on, so we're in the back bar.
Last McCall tonight. Now, just before we jump off Formula One.
Well, we're not jumping off yet, are we?
Are we?
No.
There's a few touch-ups going on.
Well, before that, what about this great bit of vision of Lando Norris on track and his team talking to him while in the race? And if we can, roll the videotape, Michelle.
And Lando, Gasly still the car in front. The car in front of him was Grosjean. He's pitted. If we can get in front of Gasly, we get some free air, and it's good for us.
Just stop fucking talking when I'm trying to race.
What did he say? What? Did he, was that a bit of potty mouth? Can you imagine if Ron Dennis still owned that team? He would have...
Shut the up.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, he's got great character, hasn't he?
I don't mind it.
He has got great character. But and
he's got a bit of
apparently he's got a bit of balls to drive the car. But
he's got what?
He's got some balls to drive the car. But let's have a look at this when he got together with his
balls.
teammate.
1.5 seconds of Giovinazzi and picked up a point. Did Lando Norris from P16. Remember that, of course. Norris was starting from the back, P16. So to pick up a point from there is pretty good. Right, Chloe is here.
Lando.
And they can go. They can go
funny.
to the airport.
Wait to have a listen to
You
this.
probably can't talk now. Are you all right? Yeah. Good.
How long will it be before Formula One drivers have to start wearing a box? A protector. Like they do in the cricket. You got to protect the boys.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But no, great character. And look, some great things came out of the weekend. Like I said before, Leclerc, fantastic. Now Ferrari's number one driver. Vettel, question mark. Number two, Red Bull, back in the game, took engine penalties in the Italian Grand Prix. Why? So they'd be fast to Singapore this weekend, which is what they're going to do. Fantastic performance from Ricciardo. And yellow card. We're talking about Messi before. Michael Messi has activated an existing regulation, black and white flag. So if you do give someone a little bit of an elbow in a braking zone, you get a warning. And guess what? It worked. It worked.
Allow them to race. Give them the Robbins race.
That's right. But previously they got a penalty, like in Canada. So that's that's what the drivers were complaining about. So Massey, rather than come up with a new rule, has read the rule book and found something that Charlie didn't care for and activated it, and it works.
Yeah. Robbins, let them race.
That's exactly right. Let them race. And if they overstep the line and start doing a bit more of that, penalise them. But give them a warning. Great idea.
Phil, you know, I've got form.
I know.
People that attack me from the side when I don't know.
Hey.
You know,
Come on.
Gavin Spann.
Hey, Gav.
Great drag racer, the Spanner man. He says, looking good, son. No, mate. Sorry, I'm not. I'm looking very freaking sad. But great motorcycle rider, the Spanner man. Good to have you watching, Gav.
Watch that motorcycle. What else is going on? Any other youngsters?
Now, I've got to say, I'll be up front right here and now because I always like to disclose one of the things I think is very important.
Well, you're having the operation, aren't you? You're becoming a man.
Since the last show, I've actually thrilled to have come to an agreement with young Oscar Piastri and his dad, Chris, to look after. We're going to look after his media interests in Australia and try and raise his profile. We showed him on the last show, winning a couple of races and dominating in Formula Renault, and the young kid from Melbourne did it again last week in Hungary.
So since you're his PR man, we'll now be sitting back for 45 minutes. Here's the life story of Oscar Piastri. No, all joking aside, he did a great job. Can we have a look at this, please? Michelle? Not that.
Here we go. Qualified on the pole.
This is the Hungaro Ring, the home of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and there is always going to be a couple of incidents in the first corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8.
Yeah, first corner, a few went off, brought out the safety car, closed the field up. Oscar had a bit of a battle going into that first corner as well, but he pulled away, and then they brought the safety car out. Safety car out came out again. He built up a reasonable sort of lead of the second and a half to 2 seconds. this incident happened somewhere there in the Hungaro ring. But when the safety car went off, half-hour races, he took off again, leading there by 1.9 seconds, and ended up going across the line by, 2.6, 2.7 seconds after two safety car periods in the race. So the 6th win of the season for Oscar, and he comfortably leads the series by 37.5 points.
Fantastic.
It's the same point score as Formula 1, 25 for the win and 18 for the second place finish. He did spear off the track in the wet on the previous day and didn't get to start the race. He did it on the formation lap. There's 3 or 4 cars did that. It was so wet.
Yeah.
So that cost him. They didn't even race, and they gave half points for following the safety car for 5 laps.
What does that great Australian motor racing philosopher say? It's a development series, and there's a lot of development going on. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
That's why you're learning.
Yeah, but he came back and he dominated on Sunday's
Fantastic
race.
performance. It's great to see another Australian Formula 3. We've got this is Formula Renault on the path presumably to Formula 3. Open wheeler racing in Europe is fierce, and he's clearly got the goods.
Super fierce, and you would think after a couple of seasons in Formula Renault, finished 8th last year, you'd think he'd step up to F3 next year.
Yep, let's hope.
The good thing about what he's doing in F Renault is the cars this year are the same as Formula 3.
Yeah.
Same chassis. So, he's going to be able to jump into that series and hopefully be very competitive straight away.
Another Aussie doing well on the world stage. There's quite a few of those, and good to see. Well done.
Talk about young blokes, Philip. Now,
What?
Now, young blokes
You're talking about me?
dobbing their dad in.
Oh, that's not me. That's my son's.
One of the great events in world motorsport is the Goodwood Revival.
Yes.
Which was on last weekend, and every year they have the pedal car race with 5 to 10-year-old kids, and they get in. They dress them up in the old style of gear and everything like that. 5 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
Let's go and have a look at young Leo.
What's your name, sir?
Leo.
You're called Leo. How old are you, Leo?
But Daddy told me to 4, but I'm 3.
You're 3, but Daddy says what?
I'm 4.
Now, Leo, which is your car? You got a long way to run. Have you been practicing your run?
Yes. Well.
Can you pedal really fast? Are you going to win?
Yes.
You heard it first. Leo's the...
What a beautiful little kid, eh?
Fantastic.
And how's he lagging his old man in?
I know.
My dad said to say I'm 4, but I'm 3.
Yeah, it's Tom Clarkson he's talking to, the Formula 1 commentator. So, hang on. Leo's telling lies to the media already. So, does that mean he's going to be a driver or a PR man?
Wasn't Russell Ingall's son, was it? Sorry, Russell.
Fantastic. Well done, Leo. Well done, Tom. Great event. I'll get over there one day. You watch.
David Driscoll's jumped online and said,
David.
At Goodwood, we'd love to go there.
We should do a live show from Goodwood.
We should.
We'll speak to the Earl of Richmond. He's not Ward March anymore. Duke of Richmond. Somewhere.
Not the Duke of Earl.
Richmond upon Thames.
David Driscoll, what happens? What about the world's best motorsport? Hint, it happens in 3 dimensions. Is that the Red Bull Air Race?
Is it the one?
Which David did send me a note saying, don't forget to give Matt Hall a mention for winning the World Championship, and we do have vision if we don't run out of time tonight. But
what does Red Bull give you?
Wings.
Well,
Brendan Taylor says, hi, Grandad. Tarek says, hi, Dino. Dean Canto's online. Great to have Dean Canto join us as well. And let's Phil, I'm just rolling through the things. The big news on the weekend, of course, was the supercars went to Pukekohe.
They did, in New Zealand.
Fabulous track, fabulous racetrack, and brilliant
great people,
atmosphere.
Terrific food.
And very disappointed that I didn't get to go again this year. I've been for the first 18 or 19 years and missing out at the moment. It is a fabulous a fabulous event.
And it will be
circuit.
April next year. So if you've got holidays and you're looking at going somewhere overseas or going away for a holiday in motor racing, like I am, like I'm looking at Hanoi, but we recommend Auckland. It's a ripper place if you've never been there.
This looks busy, said Glenn Smith. Yeah. Let's go, Philip. Let's go to the highlights. Race 23 at Pukekohe. And this is after the... Let's roll that tape, please, Michelle. And this is after the parity adjustment to the Commodores as well, with
Yes.
the aero that we mentioned on the last show.
Interesting, the team said if there hadn't have been an aero adjustment, it wouldn't have been worthwhile going to Bathurst. This is Jamie Winkup early on in the race, finding a way into the side of the BJA car from two back, and copying himself a bit of a penalty there. Some would say that's harsh. A bit of friendly fire. Tim Edwards, not a great weekend. Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters there, but there was no stopping. Look at the crowd.
Yeah.
That is a full house at Pukekohe. Let me tell you, SVG taking the win on Saturday from Cam Waters, terrific drive, and David Reynolds, recently having signed a 10-year deal to stay at Erebus Motorsport. That's 70 years in dog years, because that's how David lives his life, in dog years. He does. Ask him. Scott McLaughlin had a shocker by his standards. 4th. Scott, what's going on?
How good
doing?
are you going when you finish 4th or 5th and you've had
That's a
shit day?
That's your dog day. You finish 4th, just off the podium. Oh, it's my worst day of the season, mate. You're on fire. Lee Holdsworth 5th, and Jamie Winkup got back for 6th.
Now,
And it was a post-race penalty for Jamie Winkup.
Jamie, yep. Excuse me.
You right?
No.
You don't sound well. He's actually, just to add to the fun, he said don't mention this. The man is really, like, he's dragged himself out of a sick bed to be
Oh,
here.
no, I had the bad lurgy last week, and I thought I got on top of it, but not quite.
So, hang on.
Now, but with that,
Yeah.
of course, the event was Scotty McLaughlin going for 17 wins in the season.
In the
which
17?
in the number 17, which would break Craig Lowndes' record. Now, didn't win on the Saturday, obviously. We've just spoken about that.
And also would be the most number of wins for a Penske driver in a single season. And when you look at the list, oh my God.
Yeah, not too bad.
It's all right, isn't it? Some pretty good horse flesh.
So, anyway.
Race 24, a lot on the line.
He rolled out and wanted to go a lot better on Sunday morning, but qualifying, big incident, made a lot of news. Let's have a look at that.
Coming onto the straight, isn't this a fantastic shot? That really gives you a sense of the speed. And then he gets on the grass, and then he juices it and goes bang with the sign. And I tell you what, he had 2 turning and 2 burning all the way through there. And I don't know how much Scott McLaughlin knew about that. There wasn't enough lock on the Mustang to get it back onto the black stuff, and I think that was in the lap of the gods. And he only got a 7 from the German judge. Must have been the dismount. Fantastic spin. And he was saying, I thought I was going to be pulling this thing out of the fence.
And he said more arse than class.
Yeah, he does. Like you would like to find something about him you don't like, and he's self-deprecating when something like that happens. Otherwise, some people we know, let's not name them. Some people we no. That's a bit of me. That was all me.
Scotty's a hell of a driver and shows some class.
He does.
Says Nathan Francis Knight.
Yeah, okay. But he wasn't the only...
Well, we got a bit of a comparison of a bit of a slide in qualifying.
Anything Americans can do.
And let's go to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway and Jesse Iwuji, the Ouija board. Let's have a look at that, please, Michelle. In the Gander Truck Series, coming off turn number 4 onto the main straight, and the red Lost Chevy S10 has hit the wall.
It sure did.
And he didn't quite catch that, and unfortunately, there wasn't any arse in that. It was...
that was all brown fake stuff. Where was that? Las Vegas?
Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Don't we know somebody who works for a racing school in Las Vegas Motor Speedway? French bloke? Frenchie.
Who? The bloke that didn't turn up for dinner the night that he said come out for dinner.
Wow.
Yes.
Is that him?
Yes.
He's probably out for dinner. That might be one of his graduates.
Crickets. That's what I got when I went to see him. He said, "I'll meet you at bring Michelle. We'll meet you at the Top Golf.
Good to see you're not bitter about it.
We'll have some drinks and dinner," and didn't front. And apparently he was pissed by the pool with his cousins at the hotel he was staying at because he was staying at a hotel for the weekend.
We'll see him in a couple of weeks.
Oh, I'm not going to talk to him.
No.
Bugger
You're
him.
dissing him.
No, he didn't front up for a Holden Drivers Christmas party once, too. He's a no-show.
Cold shoulder.
He's a good bloke, though, but he's a no-show.
Lamb shoulder.
Anyway,
Race 24.
that's a little bit of fun because now it gets serious.
Yeah, it does.
Let's go to the highlights of race 24, Phil.
We will. Front row of the grid, Jamie Whincup, after one of the best shootout laps of the year, I think one of the best I've seen for a long time, and he dominated the race early on until this happened. Car number 9 stops at turn number 8, and the safety car is deployed, and then brown stuff intersects with air conditioning. Jamie Whincup, the race leader, we will talk about that in a moment, goes past the safety car. The teams are trying to figure out what's going on. And somehow Scott McLaughlin comes out the other side of that with win number 17 for the season, and he celebrates the way you're supposed to celebrate these things. And this is where the conversation started. Now, Gerald, I think, do we need some refreshments before we get stuck into this?
No, well,
I'm gonna have something.
Why not?
What have you got?
I've got a red wine.
That's funny. I've got a red wine. What have you got?
I've got the Hero of Zero.
The Hero of Zero.
Which Jamie, unfortunately, was the Hero of Zero on Sunday afternoon for passing the safety car. Again.
Well, I've got 6 of one, not half a dozen of the other. And this is the good stuff. This is...
Phil.
I didn't even know they made wine in North Korea.
Don't tell me the officials have been drinking out of your bottle, Phil. Looks like they've already been into it.
No, they haven't. That was me.
I think Jamie saw them drinking it. So why? What about the tannins?
The tannins are good.
What about the aroma? Pungent.
That's right. Some wines have a shelf life. This has a half-life. I don't know what that means.
Well, mine's got no preservatives. Means it won't last very long after I've opened the bottle.
Now, the other thing was, Gerald, I thought when we had our wine, I thought we might like to have some peanuts from Ivory Towers. But A, I don't have any Ivory Towers, and B, I'm allergic to peanuts.
Russell Lingle, of course, waved kindly to some people in the Ivory Towers, the peanuts.
Yeah.
At Winton once.
I don't know what they say in North Korea, but Nostrovia in Russian.
Now J-Dub wasn't too happy.
Not to be taken internally, that one.
Wasn't too happy and actually said that the officials mucked up the race again, and they probably go to the races after having a few reds on a Saturday night.
It probably wasn't his finest moment.
I thought it was amusing myself.
Well, I think he's going to get fined for it.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, and look, I've got no reason to assume that any of that is accurate. But hey, the only people I know
I've seen them have a few.
a few on Saturday night.
I have seen them have a few on a Saturday night.
It's happened to me. I've had a few on a Saturday night.
Oh, so have I.
Anyway, look, there's a couple of things we need to talk about here. And that one is that Whincup passed the safety car. We do have vision of that, I think.
Yes, we do. Let's have a look at the vision.
And the lights on the safety car are definitely orange, as you can see over there on the left, and here he comes again. Now, this has definitely happened, but there are a few conflicting opinions going around social media about exactly what the status of the race was. So, turning the clock back 50 years to what I used to do, spend hours and hours and hours and hours going through information and writing a 3,000-word race report in something that was called a magazine, Boys and Girls. That was Motorsport News back in the day. That's how I spent most of my Tuesday and part of my Wednesday. Now, we have a still here, which is quite interesting because what happened was, and we'll have the first still, please. Jamie Whincup was definitely leading this race for the first 12 laps. He was 4 seconds in front of the field when he made his pit stop.
Michelle, let's have a look at the first image, please. Oh, there.
You can see here, top left-hand corner, he's leaving the pits, the top left-hand corner, 10.6 seconds. Right?
And Van in second is Van Gisbergen?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So that definitely happened. And then we'll have a look at the next still because under safety car, Scott McLaughlin pitted.
Let's have a look at the next image, please, Michelle. And we'll just, when you get onto it, just hold it there.
Just freeze it.
Just freeze it there.
So on the left, we've got Scott McLaughlin leaving the pit lane and his pit stop time, not his transit time, his pit stop time is 24 seconds. So it's 14 seconds longer. The other part of this is on the right, and this was, I've got to say, this is fantastic work from Supercars TV, of Supercars Media. That's Jamie Whincup about to cross what's called SC2. That's the safety car, second safety car line, and that's the point at which race control times the cars. So that is Whincup taking the lead back in that race.
Correct.
So when people say, "Oh no, McLaughlin was in the lead," no, Whincup was in the lead. So,
Correct.
and it was a coincidence because the safety car wasn't trying to pick up the leader. The safety car at that time, because the orange lights were on, was under instruction to pick up the next car in the queue, which happened to be Jamie Whincup, but he happened to be the leader. And then the toothpaste came out of the tube, and you couldn't put it back.
But they were going to push the cars past and pick up McLaughlin.
That was
their intention,
that was
correct?
what the intention was going to be. And
Right.
and when
so
that,
they were going to, in fact, pull out the wrong car.
and when that happened, of course, by the time Lee Holdsworth, who was in second place, came around, other cars had made their pit stops, and he got pushed back 8 or 9 positions, and he eventually finished in the teens. And as someone said to me yesterday, he got rogered with his pants on.
Yeah, look, and I mean, Jamie's passed the safety car.
Yes.
So regardless of if he was in the lead or if Supercars or the officials didn't think he was in the lead and were going to wave him past, he's done the wrong thing and copped the penalty, and rightly so, and I can't believe that he did it.
Again, because he did it at Bathurst in 2015.
Now here's the interesting thing. He issued an apology on social media. He said, while I knew I wasn't the leader of the race, well, sorry, you were, and despite my engineer confidently telling me over the radio to not get held up by the safety car, the lights were orange in front of me. So while he's saying, hey, they're orange, I shouldn't have gone past, I was told to go past.
That's right. Here's the other thing, which I don't quite understand. So he's saying in that statement that he didn't think he was the leader of the race. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. While I knew I wasn't the leader of the race. He was.
Immediately he went past the safety car. The television coverage had someone, and I assume it was David Couch, his race engineer, telling him, relax, we're still leading the race. So Red Bull HRT were clearly under the impression that he was leading the race, number one. And number two, Shell V-Power Racing were clearly under the impression that Jamie was leading the race. How do I know? I asked them.
Yeah.
And so both the leading teams had car 88 in the lead. So, look,
And in all of this, I feel so sorry for Lee Holdsworth.
Absolutely.
Who, you know, like, he's had a damn good career in supercars and
Yes.
probably is, you know, going to make way for younger drivers. You know, here he is on merit, up there, battling away.
Yep, probably would have won the race.
He, in a
Podium on a bad day.
is actually second.
Yes.
And then the officials wave him past.
And he didn't do anything wrong.
And bent him over
Yeah.
and right royally rooted him.
Well, I don't think the officials actually did that. I think that was circumstance that did that. So anyway, McLaughlin won. Shane was second. Chaz was third ahead of Nick Perkett. Lost in all this, Hazelwood. Terrific result for him. Fifth. Scott Pye is sixth. And a career best, Simona Di Silvestro, seventh. But this is how out of whack things are. She was seventh, and she was seventh after a penalty put back Whincup. Whincup? Or whoever, somebody else was in front of her. Anyway, she was seventh, but she was like 42 seconds behind the win. In a race like this, you usually don't get 42 seconds gap between the first and seventh cars. And that just shows you how many cars were out of position because of the pit cycle. So what are they going to do to redress this? I don't know. There'll be an inquiry, but like I said before, the toothpaste got out of the tube and it's hard to put back.
Tarek has chimed up and he said Whincup had already passed the safety car by the point of that second image. No, that's prior to him getting to the safety car.
The safety car by that stage was sitting on the back straight.
Yeah,
and
waiting for him.
Yeah, and there is a clear protocol here based on past experience, and one of them is it has to sit in a position where it's visible to the cars because, what was it, 9 years ago, Aaron will know, at Phillip Island, when Amber Anderson was driving the safety car, she was under instruction to park on the main straight, and cars came over the brow of the hill at 250 and they couldn't see her because of the dip in the road.
Yep.
That was dangerous. So now the instruction is they have places with clear sight, and that's a matter of safety. And, of course, the other thing is the officials didn't know at the time what the condition of car number 9 was. So, and as it turned out, it made it back to the pits. But they didn't know that when they threw the safety car out. And by the way, for people who were saying they took too long to deploy the safety car, from the time that Reynolds was identified going slowly to the time they scrambled the safety car was 22 seconds.
Well,
that's how I spent my Tuesday.
Jamie had a great laugh saying that, some people didn't think it was a laugh. I did. That the officials were on a bit of the reds. And oh, Jesus. They said he was on the reds. Let's go to Las Vegas. I think there was an official there in Las Vegas at the NASCAR races. Michelle?
Pretty sure that guy's a spectator. It's windy. It's windy in Vegas. That's my brother's just been. It's a bit of a resemblance from that angle.
That is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure we haven't heard the end of it, though, Philip.
No, we haven't.
And it'll still be going on. I reckon 10 grand. I reckon Jamie will have to part with about 10.
I reckon, yeah. Look, like we said, it wasn't Jamie's greatest day. He'll be back. And that lap, like I said before, the qualifying performance and the speed, he'll be going to Bathurst full of beans. And the Bathurst 1000 is going to be an absolute belter. And Lee Holdsworth, I think, is going to be going to Bathurst full of confidence. Don't you think? Ask your mate.
Oh, absolutely. Lee Holdsworth will be going. Absolutely. But it's great to see that the Holden team think the aero is fixed and they're in with a chance up there now where they were saying it wasn't. Big, let's go drag racing. Big race in the United States on the weekend. Michelle, let's roll the Top Fuel final.
A win for the old man in the golf cart. Connie Coletta will be smiling either way. We'll find out which of his cars leaves here with a points lead and the biggest hope for a world championship in 2019. Coletta leads first, and Crampton gets to the finish line first. Richie Crampton has now inserted himself deftly into the conversation of championship contenders. 3.738 seconds, 329 miles per hour, and Doug Coletta, 377.9 at 331. It was a heavyweight throwdown, the likes of which Larry Holmes would be proud to watch.
Is that right?
Where the team go berserk with their mosh pit, and it is an absolute pleasure to welcome our first phone guest on the Motorsport Show, a good mate of mine, Richie Crampton. Hello, mate.
Hello, boys. How are you?
Well, very good, and thanks for getting up nice and early in the morning. You normally snooze in a bit later than this.
I do, but, mate, it's a pleasure. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Talk to you, boys.
Well, we'll be asking you for a traffic report from Indianapolis soon, Richie.
Yeah, there was pretty much nothing on the road at all apart from some corn out there in the cornfields on the way in. There wasn't a lot going on.
Well, you at work already?
Yes, I am. Getting up early to do this with, as you know, a yappy dog that has ruined one of my previous radio interviews at the house, and our young son Reed, who's 18 months old and being a bit cranky. I thought I'd get in early and get on the tools.
Well, we're on the juice. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, we're on the terps already. Though it is after 9 o'clock here, Richie. So
yeah, what a fantastic weekend, mate.
Yes, it was. Obviously, the right time of the year to come good, and we've had a great race car here. Through the summer, it just hasn't really equated to a lot of round wins on the Sunday race days that we've had. But nonetheless, we were in the top 10 when it counted, when we started our countdown format, which a lot of people that don't know drag racing, we kind of do a playoff for the last 6 races of the season. And we were lucky enough to secure the 9th spot in the countdown to begin. And, in that instance, they regroup everyone within the point and kind of make it a little bit closer for everyone, so you can actually win the championship from the 10th spot instead of the first guy, running away from the number 1 position. So to have made a jump of 4 positions in the first race in the countdown, that's huge, and I think we're only a couple of round wins out of first. So we're going to keep digging, and that's kind of what we need to do.
62 points out of first in the series. It's your 10th national event win. Now, without trying to apply the pressure to you, the cars that have won the Reading race the past 6 years have actually gone on to win the championship.
Yeah, no pressure. Well, that's it then. I'll be looking good at the end of the year. I'll get a big trophy, huh?
Well, it sounds easy, doesn't it? All you got to do is win Reading, and the rest of it's going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty cool stat. Both of those stats are really cool. To have won as many NHRA Top Fuel races as our fearless leader, Connie Coletta, is pretty special to me. I never thought I'd win one, let alone 10. But, yeah, to have won Reading, which is kind of one of the bigger legendary races of our tour. It's a big East Coast race here in the U.S., and I rank that one up there with Gainesville and places like that. That it's a racetrack you want to win at, and the fact that it's in the countdown when it really matters just kind of put a exclamation point on it. But, yeah, we got St. Louis next. We have a weekend off, and then we'll go to St. Louis. That can be a mixed bag for us, but at the end of the day, Connie and Kurt Elliott are doing a good job, and my entire DHL Toyota team are just giving me a good race car. So I kind of feel like it might be mine to screw up. So I'm going to do my part and see how we go.
Now, I got one of those, I don't know if you can see it, but I got one of those 10 trophies right next to me here. I brought the very special Wally in, mate, to put on the table tonight. That's the 60th anniversary Chevy Performance US Nationals that you won in 2014, the biggest drag race on earth. So you have won some, it's been quite amazing, those 10 races, but you've won at Gainesville twice. That's one of the oldest races. You've won 60 years old. You've won at Indianapolis as well, the US Nationals, the biggest drag race on earth. You've won Reading. You've won at Bristol. You've won at the Texas Motorplex. You've come a long way, mate. You must pinch yourself sometimes, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I do. Coming from Adelaide and what my dad and I did in the shed, going drag racing and moving over here as a mechanic and then getting to drive, it's kind of hard to step back and take a look at it. Sometimes I've been pretty fortunate to have worked with the people I've worked with, whether it be crew people or crew chiefs or the teams, and it's just what I wanted to do with my whole life, and I'm very lucky to have kind of had some success doing it over the years, and now it's down to the point where I want to keep going and want to make it all worthwhile and keep trying to make all the risks everyone takes by kind of giving me a shot when I was an unknown guy from Australia and get some more wins for them and as we say, contend for the championship. So that's what we're going to do. But yeah, winning Indy was huge. You were there to share that weekend with me, mate, weren't you? And
it's going to be a big one tonight. Celebrate. I remember that one. Oh, sorry, yep. Leah Pritchett. We spilt some drink on Leah's carpet, brand new carpet. Mate, Phil, I don't know if you know, but when Richie moved to the US, I actually was there as well, and we used to share a room together on the road.
And what, it was lonely, it was cold, it was just that one night you were drunk? Is that how this story's going to end, Richie?
No, it was too bad. It was too bad.
Oh, that's what you tell us now. How did he get that trophy? Was that payment for something, Richie? Come clean, mate.
He pushed them together.
He pushed something together.
Now, Reading, what about a fantastic weekend, mate? Let's roll, Michelle, if we can, we'll roll the qualifying footage of Funny Car, of Ron Capps in Funny Car, alongside JR, Todd, your teammate. But what about this in the Napa Funny Car? 339.28 miles per hour. What a ride. There it is from the inside of the car. You break 330 mile an hour for the first time on the 1,000-foot the other week, mate. How does it feel?
Fast. It's probably, we're talking 535 kilometres an hour for our Australian listeners, of course. It's impressive. When you make a run like that goes 500 plus kilometres an hour at the 1,000-foot finish line, what's more impressive to me is that we're already going about 295 miles an hour at half track. So we can accelerate to 300 at the finish line, but what's more impressive to me is within 600 feet, those cars are going 290 something miles an hour. And we're on tap to do that, which was almost drag defeat. It's pretty impressive.
Well, let's look at Michelle roll. We've got Michelle in here, Richie. She's rolling the videotape. Here we go. This is qualifying, and
Hello,
Brittany
Michelle.
Force on the left-hand side. Quickest run in history, 3.62 seconds. It's only 3:31 mile an hour, but she went 2:99 at half track. So nearly broke.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Pretty impressive. First time that anyone's run that fast to half track, and I think that you'd find that if our dragsters in the NHRA had the same ignition system that the funny cars are allowed, that Brittany Force might have well gone over 340 something miles an hour on her run, because another Aussie, David Grubnick, tunes that Brittany Force dragster, and man, that was definitely one that broke everyone's back. That was an impressive run.
But you, the thing about the weekend, you actually drew Brittany in the semi-finals, but she had a mechanical problem and had to shut off. You don't like to win a race on a solo, but you got to take them any way you can, can't you?
Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate to have a single run there in the semi-final when her car was leaking something. We knew that was going to be a really tough round for us to try and win. Obviously, she was number one qualifier, and Grubnick is really doing a great job tuning that car. So we think that was obviously our lucky round for the day. Not making the run, and then us smoking the tyres. So we'll never know if she may have smoked the tyres also, or she might have just kicked our ass. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter, and we were able to come on to the final and race Dougie.
Now the big thing about Phil, you haven't been to Indy, have you? Have you been to Indianapolis?
No, I haven't.
It is race city. It's the Speedway is located in Speedway,
Really?
And out where that's the town of Speedway, and out the town where Richie lives is called Brownsburg. It's a outer suburb. Is where all the drag racing teams are, and a lot of Speedway teams as well.
Yeah.
It's 24/7 racing at Indy, isn't it, mate?
It is. And that's why it's my favourite place to live, I guess you'd say. If I don't get to live in Australia to do what I have to do, it's got to be here in Brownsburg, Indiana. Just not too long ago when Fernando Alonso was running Indy 500, I can literally look right next door at the Honda building where he would come and try the simulator. And across the street we have Graham Rahal shop. There's some drag racing shops on our same street. But yeah, it's really the hub for motorsports in America, Brownsburg, Indiana. So obviously, of course, the NASCAR guys have their place in Charlotte, but all other forms of motorsport, whether it be World of Outlaws, street cars, NHRA drag racing, and IndyCar, they're all kind of, you can nearly throw a rock in them all from where we're at here. So if you're a racing guy, this is the place where you want to be, and that's where I ended up with sports, because that's where I needed to be. So it's good. It's a pretty quiet town. As I was saying earlier, I don't think I passed a single car on the way into work, so it's not like living in LA or anything like that.
Just tractors. Combine harvesters.
Oh, there's a lot of corn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of corn.
Absolutely.
And right across the road from your shop as well is Wayne Taylor Racing that runs the Cadillacs and the IMSA sports cars. And Jordan Taylor, of course, came out here and spent a weekend with us.
That guy should be a comedian.
Jordan Taylor, yes. He should be.
I keep looking for a Rodney Sandstorm sighting over there.
Yeah, he'll be there.
He wants to come to Bathurst.
Now, Rich, we'll have a look at this for the next minute, but I've got the vision of Friday night at Indy Motor Speedway of the speed cars. We'll talk to you about this after we do it. We've got the commentary with it, but have a look at this for some fantastic racing. the last 3 laps of the speed cars.
Out in front. Michael Pickett right in second. Here comes Grant.
There goes Pickens in front of him. Can he make it stick? He does. Here comes Sunshine.
2 to go this time by. Justin Grant trying to get up in the mix. Kyle Larson, Michael Pickett still side by side. Throw a blanket over 1, 2, 3. Say touch off turn 2. White flag coming out.
Oh, you don't see this every day, folks. Larson, look at this.
Kyle Larson back in turn 1. Michael Pickett will try the cushion right on the rear bumper. Down the back straightaway in turn number 3. They touch. Michael Pickett's upside down. Larson stops. Grant flips. Red lights on the racetrack. Larson keeps going. What did we just see?
Unbelievable.
It's just like indoor
What
speed
have
skating.
we just seen?
Is that Stephen Bradbury?
Now, did you get out to that, Rich?
Was that the BC Classic?
Yeah.
The field of the 500?
The Brian Clausen Classic?
Yeah, so, I couldn't see the audio. But, yeah, if you're talking about the when Larson
Yep.
on to win, is that the race you're watching?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
that
the
was
one.
impressive. Unfortunately, no. I did not, but everyone I know was there, and I kind of feel like I missed out on that. But pretty impressive to race in there for them last few laps.
Never seen an ending like that before.
Now, you guys, I think you and J.R. Todd know Kyle Larson reasonably well, or J.R. does, and hang around sometimes?
Yeah, JR and him are good friends, of course. Him and Brad Sweet also in the world of outlaws. It's kind of the way it goes around here. There's a kind of mutual respect for all of the kinds of motorsport that are in town here, and when we cross paths, we get to hang out a bit, do some cross promotions now with some other racers along the way as well. So.
And you do that with Toyota too, don't you? You spend a bit of time with Joe Gibbs, the coach, and Eric Jones and those sorts of guys.
Yeah, and that's been pretty cool talking with Coach Joe Gibbs about his drag racing time. But Eric Jones, a good guy. Ryan Priest. We had some Craftsman crossover stuff last year when I was running the Craftsman branding. But yeah, it's cool. You get to meet a lot of people from all over the world that are just trying to succeed in motorsport, and we have a lot of fun.
A lot of people wanted to know beforehand. Phil, I don't know if you... I didn't get the vision out, but Richie runs a 57 Chevy station wagon as well.
You show me photos.
The shitbox of doom.
Yeah.
Didn't make drag week. You took drag week off this year. But for the last 2 years, you've absolutely slayed them on drag week, mate. That thing's gone bananas, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's funny. That old car, it's probably more popular than my Top Fuel drag that I get to drive at times. But, those people out there that don't know what drag week is, it's basically an endurance kind of test where you have to drive your drag car from track to track over 5 days. You usually do about 2,000 kilometers in the course of that week, and at every track you need to race your car. So the cars get pretty beat up, and the kind of mindset I had when I built mine was, I'm not going to put a shiny paint job on it or nothing. I'm just going to make it kind of do what it needs to do, and you can beat on it without kind of worrying about scratching it. So I have the rustiest 1957 Chevy wagon with possibly last year had the biggest motor that we could have found and put it in the thing. And, we had a great time. For those drag races out there, it ran 6.9 seconds at over 207 miles per hour. So for a big brick of a car like a 1957 wagon, that was pretty impressive. I partnered up with a Swedish racer, Johnny Lindberg, and he and I are a couple of little rat bags and just had some fun with it.
Yeah, what was your mileage like on the highway? Did it vary?
Yeah, I think we got about 9 miles to the gallon, and without getting into too much of the technical stuff, we had to kind of get creative with how we were going to drive a 3,500 horsepower race car engine down the highway. But
that must be the reason. Is that the reason you left Australia? It's $1.71 a litre here tonight.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like the Wild West. But the engine in the car was actually built by Jamie Noonan in South Carolina now. But you guys would remember Noonan from
it's a small
what
world.
they've done with the V8 Supercar and racing in Australia. So it's kind of a small world.
It sure is.
Mate, it's been good having you chat. I'll be over for the finals, Michelle. You've just been told.
I'll be flying solo on the show, will I?
Oh, no, we do it just before I go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring Andrew Luck in to co-host if he's away. It's an NFL joke for those of you who don't know.
He's retired.
He is.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to
So,
do.
Gerald,
Yeah?
don't forget to pack your suit to the banquet, all right?
Oh, mate, don't worry. I'll be packing it. We're coming to the banquet, mate. We're gonna have a big time. But thanks, mate. Thanks for joining us. It's been great. Congratulations again. 10 wins. We're super proud. And,
Absolutely, Richie. Well done, mate.
We're rooting for you.
What are we doing?
Rooting for him.
Are we?
He still gets a chuckle out of that.
Oh God, it's infantile, isn't it, Richie? The things you put up with.
Small things in you, small minds. But yeah, no, thanks, boys. Keep up the good work. Love
Thanks,
the show.
Richie.
All right, mate.
And I appreciate you having some drag racing on there. It's been good.
Yeah, all right, mate.
See you, mate. Well done. Good guy. He's a hoot.
Oh, mate, he's
2,000 kilometres at 9 miles the gallon. I'm gonna work that out. That's more money than I make in 3 months.
The the shitbox of doom. It's gone berserk. And when he was building it, I was over at the shop, and he said, "Oh, have a look." And he'd been sending photos, and I'm going, "Jesus, mate, have you not got enough to do?" And anyway, he because he builds race cars during the day for Morgan Lucas, and he started it because he had nothing. He wasn't driving at that point because Morgan Lucas had stopped the race team, and so he set out the first half of the year. But then he gets a phone call from Connie Collitta saying, "Hey, I've got this drive for you from the US Nationals on." And 2 weeks after that is drag week.
Yeah.
So he's still building the car, but building cars during the week.
So that's a bit like being rung by Roger Penske or Tim Cindric and said,
Oh, absolutely.
Mate,
Yeah.
we want you.
Well,
you're in our car. We've seen the shitbox of doom.
Yeah, well, in drag racing, there's 3 super teams. So there's Collitta Motorsports, which is Connie Collitta, John Force Racing, and Don Schumacher Racing. They've got, on average, 120 to 150 staff each.
Wow.
Collitta Motorsports, Connie Collitta, for people that don't know, he left school and started drag racing professionally in 59. And he drag raced for a number of years and then got a contract with Ford and was professionally sponsored by Ford. And out of the money that he made, he bought himself a light airplane. And he then, oh, hang on, I've got this plane, I like flying. Oh, I can fly a bit of freight. So he started flying some freight, getting paid for it. So he thought, oh, hang on, this pays all right. He turned his business into a hobby and his hobby into a business. And he now has about 40 jumbo jets that are permanently in the air flying freight all around the world. And he's 81 years old. Dougie Collitta, his nephew, who Richie beat in the final, he runs Collitta Charters, which then has another 60-odd jets, which are smaller freighters or corporate jets and the like, or ambulance jets and a big business. And then they've got the aircraft maintenance business as well. So going drag racing, Richie drives his car, nothing's a problem. But to drive for one of the legends of the sport who just likes to go drag racing.
Amazing. And if you like good movies, if you like movies about motor racing, Heart Like a Wheel.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
And I'm stunned by how many people go, what?
Yeah.
What's that? It's a story
Bonnie
about...
Bedella.
Fantastic.
On Shirley Muldowney.
Yeah, but even if you're not a drag racing fan, and I admit I'm not the biggest drag racing fan in the world, good movie.
Yeah, Jim Reed makes a cameo in there.
Really?
Yeah, Aussie Jim Reed.
Is he on the darts?
Oh, probably. Probably. It was done in the 80s.
But maybe the best motor racing movie around, maybe 1966 Grand Prix, at least for a few more weeks until we get Ford versus Ferrari.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to that.
That looks good.
Now.
What else?
couple of mad Belgians.
What?
Belgians.
Mad Belgians?
Belgians.
Oh, I don't want to go to Belgium. Yes, I do.
We've had some great fun on here tonight. Let's just look. We had Richie on the phone. Tom Worsley. Richie, when you went to the States, did you ever imagine you would become the most winning NHRA driver in history? No.
You pretty much covered that.
Brendan Taylor says, "G'day, Shelley." That's Michelle. Scotty Betts, well done, Richie. Tarek, Win Cup picked up. Yep, we've done that. Who else? We're just trying to get through these because we're on different pages. Nathan Francis Knight, Bathurst will be a ripper. I can't wait.
Yes, it will.
Absolutely.
Low threes for Pole, maybe if the track's fast and if it's dry.
I reckon a 2.
It's a big ask.
I reckon a 2.
Big ask.
Gerald, do you want some chips with that red? Glenn Smith, thank you, Glenn. Yes, I do.
Yes, we always want chips.
Scott Hallinan, drink up Tim Shenkin.
No, I don't think Tim's.
That's funny comment though. Scotty is a hell of a driver and shows some class. Greg Mariner, that's car control. That's about Scotty McLaughlin. That's why he gets big dollars.
No,
it wasn't.
That was guesswork.
Yeah, he asked that one.
Stevie Wonder could have done that.
Even he admits that.
Yeah.
Why did the safety car pull over to let Jamie pass? It's Scott Hallinan.
Didn't pull over. He just drove past it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lights were orange. Doesn't matter about hand signals. It matters about lights. Unless the lights aren't working.
I still can't believe that we and Phil and I had a heated discussion about this on the phone.
No.
Phil got heated. I didn't. And
That's not
I
like
can't
me.
understand why it keeps screwing up. In the safety car comes out, there's always a drama.
No, 9 times out of 10 it works
not
fine.
that simple. It's not that hard. It's
9
it's
times
simple.
out of 10, it works fine.
Yeah, and the other 60% of the time it goes wrong.
The other 45% of people can't add up.
Exactly. Let's go to Belgium and have a look at this. The Citroën.
You think we've got problems?
Yes. Talk about the pissing rain and all of that going on. Have a look at this. These blokes have stuck it in.
But wait.
There's more. Slicks
on bitumen. Hang on a second. I can't count in Belgium or Flemish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10. This is the one make series. In a European rallycross. Everybody went in. Now let's
Red flag. Hang on. One more.
Yeah. Oh, I can't possibly. I am going to win this. Oh, what's the word? Starts with F. And here comes the tractor, the shitbox of doom, to get the cars out of the fence. Now, let's fast forward 2 years down the road because they're going to electrify this. They're going to be electric engines.
Do you reckon they would have picked up the right car and if the safety car went out?
They would have literally picked up the right car. They would have just gone, no, look, go home, go back to Belgium. Good food, good wine, wonderful people.
Yeah.
like
that's about James Walton. Great show, fellas. Thanks,
That's
Jim.
right. It was a funny show tonight. It was not funny, haha. It was an odd show.
Well, that's Jim Walton, the 4-time Australian funny car champion.
Is that James Walton?
Who was sponsored by Coca-Cola with Thunder Down Under. And there's terrific vision, only lobbed online today, of the Porsche that Pat Long is going to run at the IMSA race.
I know, I saw it.
With the Coca-Cola.
How iconic.
How good of a clip was it that Porsche USA did? Look it up.
All of Porsche's social media right across the board is not, I'm not just cuddling up to Chris Jordan here in Australia. It's fantastic. Really good. They do a great job.
So they charge shitloads for the cars. They've got plenty of money. Like, it's not as though they haven't got profit built in.
Well, they do all right. I'm looking forward to this proposed race at the Nürburgring between Porsche and Tesla. That should be fun. Especially since Porsche didn't run their fastest car there.
Now, Philip.
Yeah, what?
Now, so there's been plenty on in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But there's going to be plenty on in the next couple of weeks.
Nothing. Oh, hang on. No, there's plenty. Yeah, F1 this weekend.
This weekend?
Singapore. It better be because Rusty's over there and Cameron Van Den Dungen's about to be. Well, he's probably there already as well. There's a whole bunch of Australians and a Formula 1 team or two. All in Singapore this weekend for the next round of the World Championship. Second round in 2 weeks of MotoGP in Aragon in Spain. What a race last time. If there was one Formula 1 race with 3 changes of position on the last lap, you'd replay it for the next 20 years, and that's what we had last weekend in Italy. Mazzano, fantastic. And, of course, Sandown, the next round of the Shannons, featuring touring car, a TCR, and plus the opening round of S5000s.
Now, Garth Tander is back in the TCR car in the Audi again this weekend.
Not in an S5000.
No, not in an S5000. I believe he might have been asked.
Close, but no cigar. Yeah, he's back in. So we get to see Tander versus
What about
Ingle.
the French bloke? Is he back again?
No. The French.
How ironic that
don't you think?
Jamie Whincup he's going to cop a please explain about his comment about officials drinking, Cam's officials maybe having a few reds on a Saturday night.
With a name like Whincup.
And
the origin of the name.
Cams won't comment on breath tests at race meetings when allegedly a driver blew positive at Queensland Raceway. I think it's ironic. I think it's disgraceful.
Anyway.
And they should come clean.
That's how it came out. The other thing, of course, this weekend is Rubens Barrichello at Sandown, following in the footsteps of many international drivers who have raced at that fine venue over many years. And part of what's been lost, apart from the fact there's actually racing at Sandown this weekend, wasn't a lot of publicity about Sandown. And a significant Formula One reporter got mixed up and reported that Rubens was going to be racing an S5000 in Albert Park next year. No. Well, you might. It hasn't been announced. Great venue, and they've recently spent a few $1 million on reprofiling some of the corners. So if you're in Melbourne and you can stand a bit of wet weather, go out to Sandown. Also,
it's not going to be wet. It's going
to be wet on Sunday.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
And also, if you're in Tasmania, Baskerville Historics, 250 entries this weekend.
Wow.
51 races. And, of course, the legendary commentary team of David Rose and Barry Oliver. Happy birthday, Baz. 75 today.
Happy birthday, Barry.
Yeah, good for you. And
what a lovely bloke.
While we're at it, you're going to say I'm name dropping again. Sterling Moss, 90 yesterday. Fantastic.
The greatest driver never to win the championship after Mark Webber.
It's a tie. It's a tie.
Richard Jansen. Pass congratulations on to Richie Crampton from Richard Jansen. Sorry, Richard, I forgot to do that.
We'll ring him back. We'll put his number online.
I'll send him a text message. He's at work.
Yeah.
Thomas Jarrett. Any chance Team Kiwi might make it to Bathurst?
Well, if you've
Where
been
did
watching
you hear it first?
I can't remember.
You heard it here
4 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago.
Was it 6 weeks ago? No, it's 4 weeks ago. Garth was on.
It was the 2 weeks before that.
Oh, was it?
When young Jack was on.
It was when Jack was on. Oh.
So, yeah. So you heard it here first.
Still got
and
it. I've still got it.
They've bought a ZB.
Yeah.
Apparently a 888 ZB.
Yeah. Look, it's all a bit late in the day. Do we know who's driving it? Is it going to be Gus?
No. It's Jackson Evans and what's his name?
Vanderdrift.
Yeah.
Chris Vanderdrift.
He's
a good driver. I saw him in Carrera Cup Asia a couple of years ago. He's a very good driver.
David Driscoll. To guys that have been in the industry for centuries with regards to parity and other issues this season in supercars, is it normal for the CEO to not be out in front of the people making announcements, taking questions from media, etc.? All the information seems to leak onto the media sites as opposed to being presented up front.
Well, I don't know when you'd expect the CEO to front the media. Probably at races. It's probably more newsworthy if we talk to the principals.
Yeah,
and the CEO doesn't make those decisions; the commission does, and they're approved by the board.
It should never have been said it was the closest ever deal. Closest ever parity between the cars. When one car was so different to anything else that's been out there before. And that was a mess of it. And I don't think that was the media manager's fault. I think that's what he was told.
Yeah, probably.
And then obviously there was some technical appointments made after all of that was really done. And they've tried their best to rectify things.
And it's interesting that there's been an announcement recently in the last few days about, number one, a significant drop in horsepower to save costs. And number two, they're going to make substantial changes to, you're not going to guess this, the aero.
The aero, yeah.
Again, using a new methodology. So,
the big thing about that on the weekend was both Roland Dane and Jamie Whincup, and I think a couple of Shane Van Gisbergen said it as well. Too much aero on the cars. So they've got their agenda now.
Yeah.
Too much aero on the cars. They want it reduced for next season.
Yeah. So with less power and less aero, the cars will be going slower. But who cares? We don't. No one barracks for speed. They want close racing. It's like people saying they barrack for tyres.
David Driscoll, $10,000 for a sign on the podium. Remember? Yep, and rightly so. What do you reckon? Yeah, what do you reckon for Jamie?
I've
7-time champion.
Yeah,
he's got plenty of cash.
Yeah. Well, he has, but that shouldn't really come into it. Look, he's been of exemplary character for a long time. It might be a suspended fine. It might be a couple of $1,000. I don't know, but I think they will have to do something because you can't, unfortunately. Otherwise, well, depending on what side of the fence you're on, you can't let things like this slip.
Mike Watkins, are you going to bring back the shit box? Phil, he knows the cars that you drive. The Suzuki is out the front.
It is. Well, most of it's out the front. So most of it was there 3 hours ago.
No. He couldn't drive it this year. Too much on for Richie, but he did actually pull it out of the garage the other day and started
9 miles
working
a
on.
gallon. He probably can't afford it.
They were talking about putting it back to putting a big LS engine in it and fuel injected and stuff and turboed again.
Gee whiz.
But the alcohol funny car engine in it was just amazing. It was
300 miles an hour in 3 seconds. So when he jumps on it, yeah. So when he jumps on a 777 and you get that push in the back, he's probably thinking, "Come on, give it the beans."
Yeah, he's a good guy. He is one of Australia's greats and 10-time NHL.
If he wins the
winner.
title
Just,
this year, I tell you what, that's right up there with a lot of achievements.
And this is
it's a big deal.
This is the US Nationals trophy.
Yeah. By the way, how come you've got it?
Fuel.
Is this a hostage situation? Are you holding that thing ransom?
No. What happens over there is that all of the team members get a trophy as well.
Oh.
And
you pretended you were in the team.
No. Well, mate, I was in the photos. I was there. And Richie, for his first year racing, presented me with the trophies from his first 2 wins.
That doesn't mean anything. You know the group wedding photo when you get married.
But this one's a special one.
I've got people in that neither of us know.
Yeah,
well, people just walked in.
Yeah. Well, this one's a special one because it's got a different base on it for the 60th anniversary. But he and Big Daddy Don Garlett's in the 65 years of the US Nationals, the only 2 top fuel drivers to build their own cars and win.
There you go.
So anyway, that's about it, Philip. I reckon
we're done.
Episode 12 is coming up in 2 weeks on the 2nd of October.
Yep, not much going on in October.
Which will be our Sandown 500 review.
Oh, no, it won't.
What happened to Sandown?
It got exported to November, and then Adelaide. Oh well, the Bend.
So 2nd of October, it definitely has to be. It will be our Bathurst 1000 preview,
and it'll be. Will it?
Yeah.
God, and I've got to drive up to Bathurst the next day.
No, it's 2 weeks before.
Is it 2 weeks before?
Yeah, we're a week and a half before because it's on the.
I can't keep up. We'll have a Sandown. We'll look back at Sandown fondly, back at the TCR and S5000. What are we going to do for the retro round? Are we going to dress up?
I think we're going to go Hawaiian for
done for surface.
And that'll be beside the palms near the pool.
Yeah, hey, that's right. Home. Hey, everyone online, get your Hawaiian shirts out. That'd be good. Send us photos. That'd be great.
But thank you for joining in.
11 shows. Thanks for all the views.
And 32,500 views last time. We really do appreciate that. We've been growing each time. Please tell your friends about it.
Send red.
Send red.
Not the North Korean stuff.
The hero of zero.
Didn't know they made one in Latvia.
No. It's not, as I said, it's got no preservatives, so it's going to go off, Philip. So, although the taste is lingering,
that's not lingering. That's illegal. All right,
top show, fellas, says Brendan.
Thank you.
Sandown review, no more supercars. Thanks, David. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. We look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks' time, 8:30 p.m., 2nd of October.
Cheers.